of what's been happening and I've been witnessing on the news and listening to talk radio and reading in the newspapers and etc., watching live footage of treatment, mistreatment of African American men, women, boys, and girls. Thank God for social media.
Yeah.
Social media has taken away what is referred to as plausible deniability. Meaning, you can't say it's not happening. I have developed a zero tolerance for racism and rancor to such a degree that this afternoon, I'd like to quote a friend of mine, and I'm telling my age, in a movie he played in called They Live, Rodney Piper. There was a scene where he said, I've come to chew bubble gum and kick you know what. I have come to chew bubble gum and you know what, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
I'll say it.
Do I have your attention? Look. Main Street welcomes you because traffic has stopped because of your movement. I've been living with a nauseating brain bleed, and I feel the gut punch of systems, symbols that represent intolerance, racism, sexism, environmental crimes, xenophobia, homophobia, immeasurable cruelty and ignorance makes it hard to breathe. But mommy, isn't that a preacher? Yes, I am a preacher, but I'm all out of bubble gum. Black people are being shot, tased, beaten, choked to death, emasculated, and it won't stop until we start acknowledging and organizing and beginning to fight back. Yes, I'm a preacher, I'm a pastor, I'm a man of God, but it's time to take it to the streets. I'm so pleased with each and every one of you out here this afternoon. How can I say this? I'm not about fighting. I'm not about making war, but I'm all out of bubble gum. There are many forms of racism, from blunt physical harm we heard, fatal force we've heard and seen, to social economic disparities. And if I speak against one, I'm going to have to speak out against them all. Because they are harmful and they are deadly. A time for picking and choosing a side of racism to be offended by is over, simply because racism, point blank, is wrong. We have been culturally conditioned to accept and tolerate the ill treatment of black and brown people because of the pigmentation of one's skin, having been inferior to being white. White supremacy lies taught to us from birth and reinforced by unjust laws. I'm all out of bubblegum. Too many African Americans have died senseless, blameless deaths at the hand of white sociopaths with badges using fatal force in the name of law and order with impunity. That's right, I said it. They're a bunch of flag-toting white supremacists hiding their bigotry and prejudice behind their so-called patriotism. Listen, I'm not talking about good law enforcement officers. I'm not talking about the ones who protect and serve our community. I'm not talking about the ones you see here that aren't getting paid and volunteering their time. I'm not talking about Chief Leeper, Sheriff Leeper. I'm not talking about Chief Hurley. Let's keep it 100%. I'll tell you who I'm talking about.
Tell him, Pastor.
The most part of white, privileged, affluent, and quiet like don't care about African Americans.
Yes.
Quite frankly, they are entertained by African Americans, thrilled by our high-flying acrobatics on the basketball court, that wonderful sense of rhythm we have, that animal athleticism. But apart from that, they have no use for black folk. Why is racism still being debated? I'll tell you why. C.K. Charleston said, it isn't that they can't see the solution, it is that they can't see the problem. In other words, you haven't been able to arrive at the solution because you haven't seen or acknowledged the problem. The time for political correctness has come and gone. Both white and black people are fed up, feeling fatigued, and fragile in our current social climate and feeling helpless. We are in harm's way.
Tell them.
The future of our country is at stake, and I'm all out of bubblegum. The battle is deliberate, it is strategic, it is intense, and it occurs on a daily basis. War is not the answer, but if war is the only way we can make it better, they call me a warrior and shoot me up. But ain't he a preacher? The PG answer? I'm all out of bubblegum. I have the honest answer I can give you is sometimes. If you're a pastor, put your hand up.
I see one. I see another. I see another. I see him back there.
Sometimes the shepherd has to protect the flock. And I haven't come here to preach. I have come here to set the record straight. My beloved white brothers and sisters, I'm so glad you're a part of this movement. Because the fight against injustice is going to need allies. My brother, my beloved beachcomber, white and black brothers and sisters, the tide is high and the surf is up. The atmosphere is unstable. They're calling for gale-type winds. It's hurricane season and all hands on deck. African Americans have been undervalued, underestimated, and marginalized. And Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
The fact of the matter, we matter. We count. We have always counted. America would not be where it is today if we didn't count.
Yes, sir.
The question is, who count do we matter? And it troubles me that African Americans may be counted when it comes to disparities. We count when it comes to poor health care and educational outcomes. Our children are suffering in classrooms. Our over-representation in the criminal justice systems can also be counted. We count when it comes to the COVID-19. We count when it comes to the census. Yet when it comes to the count that gives us money, power, access, opportunity, small business loans, home ownership, the vote, we stand uncounted. Our black and brown brothers and sisters they call immigrants and the LGBTQIA communities count too. Let's be unfair to move into, or should I say, let's not be afraid to move into uncharted territories and spaces to ensure the outstretched hands touch all those within our community who count. We need to have voices that basically bring people together to get people to understand that the disadvantages and the problems that's suffered by the minorities are the responsibilities of us all.
Everybody.
We live in a society that needs to recognize that the problems of some are the problems of all. And until we have leadership if that doesn't happen, there will be no peace or no justice. The plight of the black man and woman will remain the same. And if I have to go PG on you, I'm okay with that. PG-13, I'm okay with that. If I got to go rated R with you, I'm okay with that because I'm all out of bubblegum.
Yes, sir.
There just comes a time when we have to stop trying to make things right with people who won't own up to their part with what went wrong. The Declaration of Independence were penned by a few white men in the 1700s, folded together directly from an eternal and divine revealed in the book of Genesis, in the first chapter, that all people, all men, all women, and all children are created in the image of God, equal stations to which the law of nature and the nature's God entitle them to. It means if we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by the eternal Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the proof for happiness, then we need to be happy. The Constitution in titles, its citizens, its members of a whole, vesting the power of the union in the people. We have elected officials that need to hear our voice. There is a voice right here in Fernandina Beach that you never heard until today. And thank God for our young people, because that's the voice you're hearing. You don't hear their parents, but you hear them. Or you're going to fear them, because this is not over. Without it, the American experience would end up as quickly as it had begun. The story went like this. When Franklin left the assembly, room, after drafting the Constitution, a woman approached him and asked, "Well, doctor, what have we got? A republic or a monarchy?" To which he replied, "A republic, madam, if you can keep it." Therefore, every generation will have to fight for their freedom to breathe. Today and onward, it's your fight to win. There is no losing in this fight when it comes to freedom. The battle is deliberate, strategic, and intense, and occurs on a daily basis. So, where do we go from here? We go from here to the polls in November. I can't tell you who to vote for, but I am going to ask you, if you're 18 years and older, if you're not registered to vote, raise your hand. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Listen, my son is 27 years old. He's 30 now, and he told me when he was 27 he never voted before. So raise your hand, because we need to get you registered to vote.
Yes, yes.
Bridging the Gap is adopting REC, Racial Equality Coalition. Come together and stand. We need you to survive. You got me?
Yeah.
We need you to survive.
Yes.
I won't hurt you with words from my mouth. I need you to survive. Transgender, LGBTQIA community, you're all welcome in Bridging the Gap. We don't play favorites. I just want you to know we got you. I'm going to ask you, George Floyd, God rest his body, his soul, died unnecessarily. From what I saw in the video footage, thank God for social media, he was handcuffed, he was in the police car. The next time you see him, handcuffed out the car with 3 police officers with their knee, 1 on his throat and 2 in his back.
Uncalled for.
Handcuffed. And the last voice he cried out was "Mama." I know that voice. When my mother died, I heard her voice call my name. It took 8 minutes and 46 seconds to kill George Floyd. And there was more before him. But to honor him on this day in Fernandina Beach, I'm going to ask for some, if you can, if you will, assume the position that he did when he died. If you can't, take a knee. If you can't take a knee, Stand, bow your head for 8 minutes and 46 seconds.